There is so much that I enjoy and respect about Jason Williamson's work, be it on the Sleaford Mods albums or his numerous features that have generally been quite good, but it feels like Sleaford Mods have always had a bit of a problem with quality control. Hi there everyone, welcome back to On the Flip Side. My name is Adam Shawwalker, your host, and today we're checking out this new album from Sleaford Mods, UK Grim. This is the 12th record from Sleaford Mods and the follow-up to 2021's Spare Ribs. An album that I do really like a lot of material on. Nudge It, Elocution, Mork and Mindy, as well as the title track Spare Ribs are still in my regular track rotation. But that album, along with this new record UK Grim, seem to share a lot of the same issues. Neither of these albums are particularly long, both being a little over 40 minutes and 13 or 14 tracks respectively. And I feel like UK Grim, while it may be a bit less of a continuation of the soundscape that Spare Ribs brought to the table with some more adventurous beats, and even some pretty discernibly poppy melodies on that record, UK Grim thematically is very similar. Williamson is still going on about his issues with independent venues and his sort of ever-present war on people who view punk credibility as something that is important. Which, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with, I just find it a little bit disappointing that there hasn't been some more creative muses that have pushed some less tired narratives. And with a lot of their shared ideas being pretty plentiful here, there's a lot that has been pulled from even further back in their catalog. The track Till Dipper, for example, seems like a bit more of a simplified version of the track Job Seeker, and drawing parallels between material goes past just the lyrical content, with the track Right Wing Beast having an almost identical beat to Nudge It off of the last record, albeit with some slightly tuned down production. And to that point, I know this drum and bass style of mod punk doesn't lend itself to having the most varied beats, but in this case it seems a little bit like an oversight in the writing. And it's not like all of these things kill my enjoyment of this record, because I still find that I am liking what I am hearing at most points, but I can't help but feel like things are going to need to drastically change on whatever Sleaford Mods puts out next. Because cover to cover, UK Grim is decent, but maybe half of this track listing I could take or leave. First off, the title track is decent, but it sounds like a song that at one point was more developed production-wise, like some of the songs on Spare Ribs, but this feels like a rolled-back version of those songs, and it's mainly in between verses where it becomes noticeable. The bass is overwhelming, but doesn't really feel justified with how this track plays out. DIY is again a touch on the punk cred indie venue thing that Williamson has been bringing up on a few albums now, very much reminiscent to the track Elocution on Spare Ribs. However, I do think this is one of the better songs here because Williamson is just going in on this track, being so weirdly aggressive in such a nonchalant way. Force 10 from Navarone is pretty solid, kind of makes me think of like some krautrock, like maybe some Kraftwerk, or at least as far as the beat goes, it's in that same kind of territory. Till Dipper is fast-paced, fairly lo-fi as far as production goes. I mean, it is a very quick cut, which can hit decently enough depending on your mood. On the Ground, I think maybe my favorite cut on the record. Everything on this track comes together as a blend of the best of all worlds. Williamson is pushing this swingy delivery that works really well with the beat, which is fun and is almost this Casio tone surf rock beat. Right Wing Beast, I think, is unfortunate because I don't necessarily disagree with this track ideologically, but execution-wise, this song is abrasive and annoying. The beat is recycled. Williamson is in this register where he's sort of half singing and it doesn't really work. Smash Each Other Up is a decent cut on the right sound system. The bass here fills the mix out nicely, but past that, this track is kind of mid. Dawn I have similar issues with, mainly because it tends to drag at 4 minutes long, which for a Sleaford Mods track, it really feels like 10 minutes. I do like Jason's delivery on this song. It just simply goes on far longer than I would care, especially with how little this track changes things up. So Trendy is a pretty solid track. There's some weird modulation on the beat for this song, which at points is a little odd sounding, but usually ends up working pretty well. I do think this song as a driving, punchy track is pretty decent. I, Claudius is one of the moments where I think the really simple, toned-down writing style and production really lands well. Listening to it has this effect on me where I kind of just feel nauseous, which I know is a weird thing to say about a song that I like, but I do think it's cool that this song can draw that out of me. Pit to Pit is another one of the tracks here that I think lands really well. Very much sounds like an earlier track from Sleaford Mods. It would go pretty much right along with tracks like Second or BHS. Apart From You has some decent vocal melodies from Williamson that I do like, but most of this song is very meat and potatoes, very much a comfortable track as far as the writing goes for these guys. Tory Kong, I don't know if I really get. I'm obviously not British, so if anyone wants to fill me in the comments, I think that Williamson is comparing Great Britain to Skull Island from King Kong here, and he's saying something about the Tories, maybe? I don't know. I need some context. Either there's a lot more here that I'm missing, or I'm reading far too deeply into this, so please just let me know in the comments below, what the hell is this song about? The final track, Rhythms of Class, has these really big drums that sound like they were pulled from like an 80s synth pop or post-punk record, but other than that, this track is very much a wide open mix with a lot of headroom. I don't think it's a particularly weak track, but I also feel like they could have put a stronger track here as the finisher. As a whole, this record is decent, but I don't really think that this trajectory that Sleaford Mods is on right now is going anywhere without some big adjustments. Jason Williamson is still a brilliant lyricist for the most part, and I really don't have many issues with how he is doing things here, but I do feel like there's going to need to be some serious reinvention as far as song structure, style, and theming goes, because as it sits, Sleaford Mods have been steadily cranking out albums that are just kind of okay for the past few years. So with all of that being said, I think UK Grim is a pretty okay 6. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you guys thought of this one in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe. Check out my Instagram, my Reverb, and my Depop. Links to all of those are in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching again. We'll see you on the flip side.